Get ready to add to your own personal summer reading list because it's time for our book club with the Springfield Greene County Library. And joining me today is my friend Conrad Stump. So good to see you. How are things?
Things are great, you know, it's exciting. We're getting into summer.
Yes.
Lots of things happening at the library.
Better weather today. Last time you were here, we had the rain and storm, and it was a lot of back and forth.
I remember.
Yeah, you made it. You made it today well. So, okay, first up we have With a Vengeance. Tell me about this.
Yes, that's correct. Okay, so yeah, this comes out June 10th from Dudden Books.
Okay.
And so this is by Riley Sager, and Riley Sager is one of my must-read authors.
Okay.
I'm not the only one, so all of his books are like instant New York Times bestsellers.
Wow.
The library's copies already have over 100 holds across formats.
Wow.
So he's a very popular author.
Yeah.
And each of the books is like a really twisty page turner.
Okay.
And this one's kind of extra exciting because it pays some homage to the Queen of Mystery herself, Agatha Christie.
Ah, yes.
So it's set on a train. So basically, it follows Anna Matheson, and like in 1942, her family is rocked. Her dad's a railroad tycoon. One of his trains explodes and kills all these people on board,
Oh my gosh.
including her brother. And so, you know, 12 years later, she's kind of like the sole survivor of her family, and she's lured all the people that she holds responsible onto this luxury train with plans to enact her revenge. Yeah, but it's kind of turned on its head because
there's like so much depth.
they're
to
twisty,
this. Okay.
twisty. So
Yeah.
somewhere in there, one of the suspects is murdered, and she realizes like, oh crap, there's someone else on this train enacting their own plan for revenge.
Dude, what?
I know.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is crazy. I can't speak today. For people who love kind of that mystery thriller
Yes.
genre within their reading, what are they really maybe going to love about this one, you think?
The best part is the characters. So, I mean, you're following this really captivating main character who has an interesting backstory and like reasonings for why she's doing the things that she's doing. But then you also have this whole cast of characters, the suspects on the train, right, who are maybe not who they seem. They have their own agendas, their own things to hide. So it's cool to see all of that unfold.
Yeah.
You never
Sounds
know
like a good
who's who.
summer read. I don't.
It is.
I don't know.
Yeah,
So-
take it to the beach.
Okay, I love that. Okay, next up we have What is Queer Food?
Yes,
Tell me
yeah,
about
that's
this.
super interesting. So this comes out June 3rd from W.W. Norden and Company.
Okay.
And I love a cultural history,
Sure.
Especially if it makes me hungry.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of an interesting look at food history and the contributions of the LGBTQIA plus community to that. And so one of the most kind of fascinating examples is this man named Harry Baker, and in the 1940s, he sold his chiffon cake recipe to General Mills. And then that recipe got branded as a Betty Crocker recipe. And so, you know, this person who was held up as like the epitome of homemaking and who was in the homes of millions of people. And so, you know, but his story is unknown. So it's kind of also this history of like queer erasure. And the coolest thing, right, is how Birdsall kind of highlights some of these, you know, missing, forgotten, hidden pieces of history.
Yeah. It's interesting because I think like food history is something that we don't really think about much in general.
Yes,
And so it is interesting kind of these like layers to the backstory, especially when you bring up someone like, you know, Betty Crocker kind of taking over that, because it's still in people's homes actively today,
yes,
right?
I know,
So,
yeah. I'm sure someone's making that chiffon cake today.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I might be making some Betty
I
Crocker
would
brownies
eat it.
tonight.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like I'm not against it. I'm just,
Yes.
yeah. Okay, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
For people that are maybe more interested in like the food history component, what's something that you think they'll really take away from this?
I think really the way that food affects our lives and the large role that it plays and the way that it shapes culture. And, you know, there's a lot of joy in this book about kind of how food connects us and how it helps find a sense of community or like a sense of refuge.
Yeah.
And so just the role that food plays in our lives is huge.
Yeah.
And, you know, we don't think about it all the time.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Huh, all right. Well, last up, we've got the accidental favorite. So what's to know about this one?
Yeah. So first of all, I'm kind of obsessed with this cover.
Okay.
Because it kind of tells you a little bit about the story before you even get into the story. And I should say that this comes out from Henry Holt and Company on June 24th. Always like to mention that. But yeah, I love the cover. And the setup for the story is really amazing because, you know, parents like to say they don't have a favorite.
Yeah.
Whale.
We all know why.
Yeah. So Vivian's 3 adult daughters have gathered for her 70th birthday, and while they're posing for a photo, there's this threat that a tree is gonna fall on them. And so the dad rushes past his 2 older daughters to kind of get the youngest daughter out of the way.
Oh my gosh.
And so it's like, okay, well, clearly in this very life or death situation, like, he's got a favorite, even if he hasn't maybe realized it to this point.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So then it just sets into motion this whole thing of these sisters like re-examining all these events from their childhood.
Oh, I'm gonna have to read it.
Dredging up, rivalries.
Perfect, Connor, we are out of time. Yes. Thank you for being here. Library.org for more information. Catch us in Hour 3 on Colored 10.